Eli, Eli Valentine.
Alright, so we're doing a wannabe gangster realizes he's going to jail. Let's get popping.
Gangsters are supposed to be seen as
Why are they
tough
laughing
thugs
like
with
that in
no
my
regard for the
face?
law.
I don't
What
like
happens
that.
when fake gangsters are
What's
faced
good,
with
MHD?
real prison time?
I don't want to go back to jail.
I got you after this.
These are three never-before-seen examples of when wannabe gangsters realize
Here we go.
prison time. Starting with the case of 18-year-old
Conrad?
Troja, who in September of 2010
Up to
was
7.
leaving school when he was approached by a man holding a handgun.
Oh, no.
Conrad was ordered to take off his bag and hand it over, but when he refused, he was shot in the chest by the man.
Yo.
Miraculously, Conrad managed to stumble away from the scene and call for help before collapsing and dying on the spot. The
R.I.P.
suspect
man.
fled immediately, but was later identified as Edtavion Wilcox, who was
Shake
brought
my
in
head.
for attempted murder.
Shaking my
As it
head,
turns
man.
out, he wasn't all that tough in the interrogation.
Watch, ooh.
Alright, here's the deal. You know something else happened. I don't sit here and talk to you without knowing
Oh, where did
what
it
the
go?
deal is. Alright? We've been talking to people, we've been interviewing people, we've been showing people pictures.
Hey,
we've been looking
GG
at
for you,
video.
buddy.
I didn't bring you up
GG,
because
buddy.
you weren't wearing your seatbelt, okay? You got arrested for a burglary before and they didn't even bring you up here. Obviously, it's something a little more serious.
Wilcox is trying to remain calm and pretend as though he's got no idea what this is all about.
I know why
Little
you're
does
here.
he know, his getaway driver had also been apprehended and confessed to everything. Now the detective just has to find a way to get him to confess as well.
This is gonna go one of two ways. You're either gonna be a guy who made a mistake, hanging around the wrong place, the wrong time,
Right.
did something dumb, or you're gonna be a guy that goes out and likes to shoot people for fun. Okay? Listen, and before you say anything, I think you're a guy that made a mistake. I know you were there. Okay? I know what happened. I've talked to the victim. The victims picked you out of a photo lineup and said that's the guy that shot me. Okay? Here's the deal. I don't think you shot that guy because you're a bad person.
What?
You didn't mean to kill that guy.
What do you mean to do then?
What happened was you were just trying to snatch his backpack. He started fighting with you, and you got scared.
So y'all saying I shot
I
someone?
know you shot somebody.
Imagine you're an 18-year-old kid who got in over their head and ended up shooting and killing an innocent civilian.
Shake
No
my
matter
head.
who you are, you'll be feeling scared.
Quiet,
a
bot.
feeling that'll only be amplified
My
when a
bot,
police
not
officer
narrative.
asserts that they know exactly what happened. Wilcox will be feeling rattled now. As the cop talks, he's slumped over in his chair, implying he's
shit.
interested in what the cop is saying, and as soon as he's allowed to talk, all his responses sound confused and even bewildered. The cop knows
Yo,
he
know
had
what he
him on
did,
the
buddy.
back foot.
GG for you,
Now
man.
he just needs to close it out.
You're 18, right? You're 18. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes, no,
This is
come
where
on.
you need to stand up and be a man and
Talk
admit
to
you
him,
made a
officer.
mistake. I know you weren't trying to kill that guy. I know that because you're not the kind of guy that does that. You panicked. You got scared. You got in over your head. The victim's making you out to be a stone cold, just straight up thug killer.
I'll do the
Guy
same.
that doesn't
Dog.
care about
Straight
anybody
dog,
else.
man.
All right.
I could have stayed big late for
If-
this shit, man.
If you keep going down the path you're going down, telling me you didn't have anything to do with it, it's not you, who are people going to believe? Are they going to believe you or are they going to believe the victim? They're
Right.
going to have to believe the victim because you didn't give me your side of the story.
Exactly.
Wilcox is being pushed into a
That book
corner.
is short.
The detective is using
My
the fact
voice
that he
cracked. Oh
knows
my
Wilcox
God.
is just in over his head, but is using language in such a way that makes him feel like he's accused of being this cold-blooded monster. His reactions to this prove just how well this technique is working. He stares at the ground, implying shame, and rubs his head in a pacifying behavior that
Such good
shows how
detective.
stressed he is.
A guy that sits there like you is not a guy that goes around and kills people.
I mean, you never know. You know
understand what I'm saying?
You know. Is he
You have
crying?
remorse. You're sorry. I can see it on. You just need to take that next step. What happened in that parking lot? Did you guys plan it? Or did it just happen?
Trying to go back.
Huh?
You can't go back.
Go back to jail, no problem.
Oh, it's got me today, man.
What'd you say?
Ain't trying to go back to jail.
Well, it's happened.
Here-
Should we go
Remember
on
we talked
robbing
about
people,
that?
buddy? That you
Don't
know.
think about that. That's the least of your concerns right now.
In a breakdown that's far from gangster, Wilcox starts to cry and laments on how he absolutely can't go back to jail. The detective uses this moment
Is
of
it a ball
vulnerability to
spot?
press him
Golly,
further.
that's a big ball
Tells him
spot.
He has one last opportunity to be honest and let everybody know that he isn't the monster they think he is.
Do you say stop hitting me or I'm gonna shoot you? Or anything like that?
I was like, I had my hand like right here.
No, you had your left hand like up against him, trying to push him away?
I was trying to make him stop hitting me
Where was the gun?
in my pocket.
Which pocket?
This one.
How many times did you shoot? What happened after you pulled the trigger? Did he fall down, or was he was still standing up? Where'd you hit him?
I didn't even know.
You know you hit
So
him.
you fired that one round. What happened?
Froze up.
You just froze up?
And just like that, Tavian Wilcox confessed to shooting Conrad Tohan and was sentenced to life in prison.
Bam!
All over a school bag.
Shaking my head,
While
man.
he'll be spending the rest of his life in prison,
Shaking my head.
Demetrius Cox wasn't so lucky.
Don't smile like
Throughout the
that.
beginning of 2020, a war between rival gangs 438
10%
and ASNF began
rapper.
to break out. Many shootings were reported, with dozens of deaths attributed
God
to just
damn.
these two gangs.
Yo.
With one of these occurring on the 14th of April. Shots were fired at a house party in Davenport, Florida, resulting in the death of 20-year-old Wolf Luma.
Damn.
The killer was identified almost immediately as Demetrius Cox,
Demetrius
also 20
Cox.
years old. 2 weeks later, Cox was brought in on the suspicion of murder, and an interrogation began, ending in one of the most shocking moments in interrogation history.
Dang, dude.
Sure, I do.
You can shake my hand?
I can.
And I didn't shake your hand before because we weren't able to, but now we can,
It's
right?
open and closed.
Yes, sir. Number one, I gotta tell you, I'm pretty impressed of the way that, just overall, your persona as it is. So, I appreciate the respect. It's gonna be given.
Appreciate the fall.
Cox starts the interrogation out respectfully, but as the interview continues, he starts to annoy the
Appreciate the
detective
fall.
by withholding information that could get members of his gang into trouble. This type of loyalty is extremely common in these types of cases, but can prove to work against you, as is seen just a few minutes later.
I'm not saying you went there for the wrong reasons. However, man, I tell you one thing. You know how they say, like, victims, and suspects, and stuff like that? I thought that you were a victim.
Oh, nah, no.
Now y'all make it like I'm a suspect.
No. I thought you were.
Crazy.
I thought you were a victim, and I thought that you were gonna give us the justification, the explanation for what happened.
Listen.
But you come in here and you can't even with little details like that. Like, who cares? If Papa J's there, why can't you just be honest and say, yeah, he was there? He was chilling.
We hung out.
So,
But I got another question for you.
What's up with his hair?
What's interesting about this case, though, is that the cop actually isn't 100% sure that Cox is the killer. As Cox mentions earlier, most of the evidence in the case is hearsay, and detectives could have a hard time using it in court.
Huh.
This is why Cox is here in the first place. If they could extract a confession, it'd make their lives a whole lot easier. But Cox isn't budging.
Cox.
Okay.
That hair though, man.
If you want to tell me what happened, I'm all ears.
I just tried to tell you what happened.
I'm all. Listen, look at me in my face. Look at me in my face.
You.
Okay, I'm
If
looking
you
at you.
tell me the truth, I will believe you. But there's an explanation for what happened.
So you trying to say I'm the explanation or something? That's what I'm asking.
It's like you're hearing me, but you're not listening to me. Listen. To
I'm
what I'm
listening.
saying.
Listen.
You gotta break it down.
Listen.
Please just break it down.
Listen to me.
Listen.
Okay. I think
My bad.
that you might have been a victim.
Oh,
But
no.
I cannot believe a victim when they leave little things out, little details about that night. Okay?
Mister, I told you all I know.
Some bad happened, man. Some
Yeah,
bad.
I understand what
And
you're
I don't think
saying.
that you forced it. I don't think that you or your buddies or anybody else, well, maybe you're running your mouth a little bit, but it wasn't justified what happened. Okay?
Eventually, the detective decides that he's not going to get anything else out of Cox and calls off the interrogation. But that's not where the case ends. In fact, the most interesting but tragic part happened
What?
just hours after the interrogation was held. Later that day, Cox was released on bail, but 11 hours later, he was shot and killed by another gang member.
Yo.
Meaning, if he had actually confessed, he just might have spared his own life.
Damn.
Even if it was spending that life in prison. But while
That's
Cox may have kept
crazy.
it together in his interrogation and preserved his gangster image, the same cannot be said for Cody Forencam.
I mean, look at his last
Crime
name.
was littered with errors and stupidity from the very start. After his phone was stolen at a convenience
Man,
store,
fuck Cody.
Cody went on a tyrannical rampage around his area looking for any signs of the stolen device. Surveillance footage captured him walking past 15-year-old Deshaun Hills, pulling a gun from his backpack and firing 3 shots at
Man,
the
fuck
boy,
Cody.
killing him instantly. Witnesses and surveillance footage helped police identify Cody almost immediately, and he was quickly brought in for interrogation.
As I said, I ain't, what I just did was the people yesterday, these motherfuckers was able to do this to me. They was able to look at Okay.
Well, I'll take a look at this in a second.
I'm saying, look how they do me.
Okay.
Look how they do me. They just kicked my mom's door open, man.
Well, they didn't kick your mom's door open.
Yeah, they did. I was on the phone, man, with somebody while it happened, man.
We were there. We were there at your mom.
Come on, man. Like I said, man, I ain't about that.
Okay, you're
I
not.
don't gang bang. I don't do, you know what I mean? I ain't with the guns.
Cody here is referring to a search warrant that was used by police to gain access to his mother's house and collect evidence. While his anger about this is likely from a place of truth, he's also using it as a way to try and argue his innocence. This is also backed up by the fact that he immediately tells the cop that he has nothing to do with gang activity or guns. But it won't take long for this facade to fall apart.
We're here because you're involved with this murder. You've told people.
Cody.
People. That's why you're here. You're
Cody.
not in Minneapolis. Okay? We have talked to people, all right, that have put you there at the scene. There's video of you at the scene.
Cody.
The whole time.
Don't fuck.
Okay, we know.
GG, buddy.
I ain't buying it, man.
You're not buying it. I'm not here to lie to you, though. Why would I lie to you?
I ain't buying it.
You're on video. Okay, people are talking to you. You're talking to them. Okay?
Cut that off too, man. It's receding.
People and talk to them.
On the evening of the murder, Cody had been walking around the area asking people if they saw the person that took his phone and aggressively confronting people that he suspected. He was also clearly seen on surveillance footage at multiple stores and businesses.
Oh, that's a W. Haha. I was good, well.
Any arguments he has here that he was elsewhere are completely invalid.
Like I said, I ain't like I said.
Cody, all we're trying to do. Here's the thing.
Y'all know it all.
Can I just say something? If I was sitting in your chair and I had.
Dude, I got mercy, dude.
Hold on a second.
I got mercy, dude. Look at this shit.
Sit down.
Whoa, sit down, bro. Sit down. Sit down, bro.
So, I don't even want. Like,
here's the one thing.
Sit down.
Hold on.
I'm mad right now. No, I was supposed to. ERT. Ooh. They all talking about some goofy shit that I don't know about.
It's a murder.
Some goofy shit.
It's a murder.
Some goofy shit. Like I ain't there.
Hey, GG, Cody, give it up, man.
Before we go, okay? Was that if I was sitting in your chair and I had two people asking me where I was on a specific day, and they're saying that I did a murder.
That's what Durfee did with me just yesterday.
I'm not talking about Durfee.
I'm saying if you ask me what I ate for dinner, I might not remember.
Take a look at Cody's language and demeanor in general. Right from the start, he's been defensive and attempting to combat every single thing the detectives have said to him.
Right.
Instead of respectfully listening to their points and trying to give counters to the cops' evidence, he either talks over them or just says, "I don't believe you," and fails to give any evidence in his defense. If Cody was innocent, he'd likely be doing everything he can to stay on the cops' good side.
Right.
And help them out by providing evidence that would acquit him. And as it turns out, he was about to start providing evidence. Evidence that would send him straight to jail.
Oh, you was at Wally's and boom.
You were by Wally's, absolutely.
I was by Wally's.
You were?
But y'all don't know the story.
Well, tell me.
You motherfucker supposed to be in the motherfucking face, stole my phone, all that stupid shit. That don't mean I pulled the motherfucking trigger.
Yo.
Just because some people say some shit.
Yo, Cody, relax, man. Yo, relax, buddy.
That's what it is. So y'all gonna go with the you here anyway. I was over at the store and I got fucking my. That's what that was.
Who jumped you?
I don't. Like I said, I don't know. That don't make me no murder. I called my big cousin. My big cousin come get me.
My big cousin. Big cuz.
I said, one was. I don't. Nothing came of it. You act like. Can I pull the trigger on somebody?
When did you get jumped, or when did you get your stuff robbed? Cody, so somebody jumped you for your phone, right? Did they get anything else from you? Or did you have money? Did you have
ID?
Is he good?
In an outburst of more anger, Cody has just put himself right next to the scene of the crime and given the officers a motive for the murder. For the next 4 minutes, Cody scrambled to get himself out of the hole he just dug himself into. But it was already too late.
GG, Cody.
With the evidence they already had, plus what essentially amounted to a full confession, Cody was found guilty of murder and sentenced to 38 years behind bars.
God here. And fuck Cody. Alright,
My boys bloated, I got my bag and they know it. You wanna pose for a photo, I don't want nothing